Hey everybody, welcome to the podcast. Sorry about missing last week, guys. I had to go to a surgery the next day, and I wasn't able to get anybody scheduled for last week because we had a tropical storm. There was so many crazy things going on. So super sorry about missing last week, guys, and I hope that you all understand. Thank you all for being awesome, though, and I really do appreciate all the kind words from my girlfriend and the just craziness that was going on. So everyone, I want to remind you all that on August 16th of this year, 2019, I'm going to be running a 24-hour Extra Life charity stream where we're going to be trying to raise $1,000 for charity for Children's Hospital. Guys, this is always a good cause. I like doing this every year, trying to raise as much money as possible. $1,000 is the goal, but fingers crossed that we can actually go even further than that. And there's going to be a lot of fun stretch goals. There's going to be a lot of fun giveaways and prizes, so make sure to come and check that out. Guys, today we're going to be talking to Pikalyn, an amazing Twitch streamer and broadcaster who is a really good friend of mine. Highly recommend you check her out, twitch.tv/PIKALY. And guys, give it up for Miss Pikalyn. Okay, Pikalyn, how are you doing today?
I am doing well. How are you?
I'm doing fan-freaking-tastic. It's been a busy week for me because my girlfriend just had surgery on Friday and all that good stuff. So,
oh, I know. That sounded so painful.
Oh man, it didn't look fun. Well, you came into my stream today and you were like, I was hungry, but now I'm not because you literally came in when I was talking about it.
Yep, and I was like, yeah, there's bone and the knee wasn't fitting together, and I'm like looking at the chicken leg I have. And I'm like, nope.
You're like, this is perfect, perfect dinner, perfect lunch talk right here. Oh man, so how's everything been going with you stream wise? Are you having fun?
Oh, I've been having a blast. I've been hopping back into a mod pack for Minecraft that I kind of stopped doing, and then I was like, you know what? I need something chill because the past month with like work and everything's just been super hectic. And I'm like, you know what? I want something chill. This is going to be fun. Let's finish it up.
Right. And you play a lot of variety of different kind of games, right? You're not just...
Yes.
Because I've seen you play like Pixark, you've played Minecraft, you've played 7 Days to Die. You've played a bunch of different kind of games.
Yeah, I like the whole aspect of like survival crafting RPGs.
Right.
But I also enjoy all sorts of randomness. Like I was heavily into like Division 2 for a while there.
Yeah.
Pokemon's obviously a huge one for me because I'm a huge Pokemon fan.
Well, it's in the name, right? It's in the name.
Well, so there was like kind of an art change with that and a title change with that as I rebranded myself. So now it's a focus away from Pokemon and more of a focus of the actual animal called a Pika.
Right.
So
okay.
Yeah.
Okay, that makes a lot of sense. So, Pikalyn, what got you started in the world of content creation? Did you start out with Twitch? Did you start on YouTube or some other format? How did you get started?
Nope, I actually started out on Twitch. It was kind of funny because I would sit there and I would play WoW, and we would have our raids on like Tuesdays and Thursdays. And I would always be sitting there in voice chat with my friends, and we would just be joking and laughing the entire time. And it always seemed like I was able to get people to laugh and just kind of have a bit more fun during what's normally a serious time.
Right.
And then whenever I would have friends over and we would just game together, they'd always like find ways where the way I talk to myself when I'm playing a game and how I talk to myself on stream when I'm gaming and talking to my community or whatnot, it's the same way I do when I'm playing games solo. I'm always just kind of like talking about what I'm doing because it's one of those ways to kind of help me focus. It's just explaining to myself like, okay, this is what I see. This is what I'm working on. This is what's going through my head. And it kind of helps me analyze real time. And so people were just like laughing at the things I said. And they're like, you should try the streaming thing. And I wasn't really sure what it was about. I never really like looked at streaming. I never really watched or anything like that. I watched Markiplier on like YouTube a whole bunch, and I watched a bunch of different like YouTube creators.
Yeah.
But I didn't know much about video editing. I was like, you know what? Can I cuss on this?
And then they were like, yeah, of course. And I guess that just sort of sealed the deal for you, right?
Yeah, pretty much. And so it was one of those things where as long as I was able to do that, I was just like, you know what? fuck it, we're doing it live. And
We're doing it live. That's how it works.
I didn't know anything about video editing. I was like, but the people who, one of my roommates was like, no, I totally know how to get you set up. I was like, perfect, let's do this. I'm done. And we got it set up and I went from there.
And how long ago was this?
This was a year ago, a month ago.
Right. So how has the journey been though, from deciding that, hey, this is when I'm going to do this, to now? How has the journey been?
It's been insane. And I say insane, but I mean it in a good way. It's definitely one of those things where when I started it, I didn't expect it to become such a big part of my life. I saw it more at the time as like a hobby, something fun to do, because I wasn't sure what was going to come of it. I wasn't sure if people were going to like my content. I wasn't sure if people were going to enjoy me as a person. And as I grew a community and I met new people and I took some like mentoring and things like that, and I learned what I needed to do, I ended up kind of falling in love with it. And the more I fell in love with it, I was like, this is kind of something that I want to put more into. This is what I want to do. Because there's that little saying, where if you find something you truly enjoy, you'll never work a day in your life.
Oh, absolutely.
And although streaming is definitely work, and you can ask any streamer that, it's definitely work, but it's that kind of like fulfilling work when every other job has just kind of like emptied your bucket. Streaming kind of refills it for me at the end of the day.
Right.
And it ended up becoming like making such a positive impact on me, where I'm like, this is what I want to do. This is what I need to do. And I need to put my all into it. So my free time, I was like, what's that? I just kind of threw that out the window.
Yeah. Goodbye free time. I think that's the thing for a lot of streamers, right? Or a lot of content creators. They're like, I could be playing this video game, or I could be playing this video game live right now.
That too.
It's
and it's one of those things where it's like, also it's like, but you know what? I could do this, or I could go meet new people and network and see how they do it.
Oh yeah.
And it's another way where, like with networking too, it's how I research new games. It's how I research games that I'm thinking about getting into, but I'm not quite too sure. And it's opened me up to so many new things.
Well, speaking on the topic of networking, it was actually funny because we met in person. You're the first person on the show who I've actually met in person too, which is really awesome.
Complete random.
I know. Well, it was at DreamHack Dallas. I was walking down the aisle, and the next thing I know, my girlfriend is pulling on my shoulder. I'm like, oh, what? And I see you standing there. I'm like, oh my goodness, it's Pikalyn. And I was like, yeah,
I saw your shirt. I was like, that's Waffles.
Yeah, I know. Because I was like, I'll wear the shirt today, just to sort of, in case anybody sees me, I'll be easily seen. And it worked. It worked out really well. Do you have fun at DreamHack?
Oh my goodness, I had a ton of fun. I dragged one of my mods with me who actually lives in the same city and lives really close. And I was like, you're going with me to DreamHack. This is what's happening. And so I got to go. I got to meet up with DJ Knight and Epic Lala Girl, his wife again, and those two are amazing people, and I got to hang out with them because I met them first at TwitchCon for the first time, and then we found out we're both in Dallas, so we've met up a whole bunch of times since then, and we're just like, what, it's cool to see friends that you never would have met unless it had been through streaming.
God, I'm so jealous because they had that Texas stream meetup yesterday.
I was there.
Yeah, was it awesome? Did you have fun?
Oh, it was a ton of fun. I got to, and it's funny because I got to meet one of my team members who's in Broken Ankle. I got to meet one of them, and I don't get to see them very often at all. I saw her once at TwitchCon, and then I haven't seen her since last night. And it was cool to meet everybody, and then it was cool to meet a whole bunch of new people. And I think they did it in the best way too, because how they had you meet new people was they had these bingo cards, and it was like bingo based off streamers. So you would find somebody who has done a 24-hour stream and they would sign your card. You would find somebody who had an animal emote or a gamer tattoo, or they've done a cooking stream, or they've done an IRL stream. So you're going around and meeting all these people and introducing yourself and breaking the ice. And like, okay, well, what kind of streaming do you do? This is a streaming that I do.
You've been to a lot of conventions, right?
I have been, yeah.
Yeah. So what's your favorite one that you've been to so far?
Honestly, and this is going to sound super, super cliche of like most Twitch streamers and things like that, but I would honestly have to say it's TwitchCon. And the main reason behind that is because that's the one convention where I get to see everybody. That's the one convention where I get to have these connections with all these people I've made online, and have those make those online friendships. I don't want to say more valid because that's the wrong term, but like more physical, to
Right.
where I get to see them, I get to say hi, I get to give them
Well,
a hug, I get to have that in-person interaction.
yeah, it creates that bond that you have over the internet, but the physicality of being able to see someone, of being able to face, because like, I feel like as humans, we crave that contact, so to speak. So
Yeah, yeah.
when we're able to put the face to the name, even if they have like a webcam or something, it just makes it that much more deeper, that
Yeah,
connection.
you get to shake that hand, you get to give those hugs that you're always typing in chat, be like, "Oh, well, I send you all the hugs." And then this way you're like in person, you're gonna be like, "No, I'm actually giving you a hug right now."
Exactly. There's a difference between seeing a name or seeing a person behind a camera or seeing words in a chat room versus hearing their actual words. It's
Exactly.
when because DreamHack Dallas, or when I went to PAX East for the first time, was nothing could compare when I first met my streamer friends and when I first met these awesome, amazing, talented people. Same thing for when I met you at DreamHack Dallas. I was like, wow, it's Pikalyn. That's awesome. Just walking down the aisle completely at random, and it's those bonds that are just make streaming so satisfying and makes it all worth it in the end. And
Yeah, I completely agree.
and so are you going to TwitchCon this year?
I am. Thankfully, my community was extremely generous in making sure that I could get there this year, and I plan on going back, and I get to see all my friends again. I get to see people who have not only been there with me on this adventure throughout the past year, but they're also people who I've met throughout the past year who are like, "Hey, I'm actually going this time." And I get to see them, and it's like it's one of those way of making those friendships a little bit more tangible.
Right. And so one of the people that you're meeting there is Beetlebomb, right? That because you
Oh my
guys,
goodness, he's my best friend. He is
yeah.
my absolute friend.
Well, that's actually a connection that I was curious about because we had him on the last podcast, and
Mhm.
he's a great guy, love him to death.
Oh yeah.
Did you guys meet over Twitch, or did you guys already have a?
So that's the funniest thing, actually. So when I first started out streaming, I had been streaming for a couple of days. I was new to everything, but I was happy. For some reason, I was making some kind of impact and I got the growth. And so I think I was 6 followers away from hitting the follower goal for affiliate.
Right.
And I didn't know what, like, at the time I was still so new to everything. I wasn't sure of what like timelines I should be setting for myself. I had no clue. And all of a sudden, I got all these notifications set up because, like, I don't know what a raid is, but I'm going to set a notification for it. I don't know what this is, but I'm going to set a notification for it because I had no clue. I never watched streamers. I never knew. I had never rated anybody on that day or like until that day because I was just like, okay, I'm ending my stream. Bye, everybody.
Right.
And then all of a sudden, the raid alert. I was like, what's a raid? What is this? What is happening? And it said Beetlebomb has brought people over, and then that's where I met a few people. One of them's like actually another really good friend of mine who's a moderator for me now. And it was just funny because it was Beetle. And I'm like, I don't know who you are, but hi, you're my new friend.
Hey, how are you doing? Well, I asked that question because, it's like I always see interactions between the two of you. We always, which is really cool, because, they have the Twitter that you guys talking all the time. And it's just like, it's really heartwarming when you have that journey that you can take with someone.
And it's also one of those things where it's like those friendships that you can make, but it's funny because people will sit there and be like, I want the friendship that you and Beetle have. I want that type of like connection that you have. And I rely on him for literally every single emotional moment that I may have, be it happy, be it sad, be it whatever it is. I'm hitting him up first thing and I'm just like, this just happened. I need you here for me. And he'll always be there for me. And I do the same for him. And it was funny because after he had rated me that night, I hit him up on Discord and I was like, hey, I have questions for you. And so he started teaching me, and I was like, kind of like, he took me under his wing, explained things to me, helped me learn. He introduced me to a few communities and to the coach I used. And since then we've just kind of been pushing each other side by side through everything.
Okay. And I want to touch on another point real quick, because you were talking about a coach.
Yes.
That you had. Who was this coach? Was it because I know Beetle said that he had a coach as well.
Yeah, we had the same coach at the time, which was a Shadow Fox.
Right. That's cool. That's cool. I feel like that even further cements sort of the kind of friendship that you guys had at the time, and then just further kept going and going and going with it. And
Exactly.
yeah, and it's just crazy to think about though, that if you didn't start streaming, this beautiful friendship would have never happened.
Yeah, and it's the funny thing about it too is, and I'm not trying to sit here and like throw a pity party on myself, but IRL in both my work and just with like friendships IRL too and everything like that, don't um
Ooh,
I don't really get along with a lot of people.
I hear Birdie in the background.
Yeah, sorry, that's my parakeet duck. He likes to make noise.
Oh,
I
it's okay.
apologize for that.
Listen, it's ambient noise. It'll add flair to the to the podcast.
There's scenery.
Yeah, there you go. See, people think you're in a jungle.
Exactly. That's what I do. I stream in a jungle, which is funny because my artwork is actually kind of jungle-ish.
See, the parakeet just complements it perfectly.
Exactly.
So, with the journey that you've been taking and all of these connections that you've been making, the coaches, how do you feel like this has impacted you as a person? Because, you said just a few moments ago that, you don't really get along with people, which you wouldn't be able to tell with your streams. So how would you be able to, or how has this impacted you in your personal life and as a person in general?
And it's funny because I look back at this whenever, like I said, last month we did my 1 year celebration, and
Which, congratulations, by the way.
thank you. It was definitely heartwarming because there were 2 videos made. One video I was not aware of, and it was my community had sent in a bunch of videos, either thanking me for something that I had done to help them or congratulating me in some way and thanking me like for my content. And then another one that just kind of showed my journey throughout the year.
Right.
And seeing me in the beginning and seeing how like timid and kind of quiet I was to how I am now, where I'm just like boisterous and like, hey, everybody, we're just going to do it this way. And
yeah,
being able to just like talk to people a lot more, it's definitely grown my confidence. But on another side note, when people would come to me and like, be it through my Discord community and talking in there, whatnot, when people had the courage to come and tell me like the struggles that they were going through, and then seeing some people, other streamers that I looked up to, coming out and being clear with their community as well, like, hey, I'm struggling with this is what is happening, I need to take time for myself. And I was just like, there was a while there where, and I'm going to be straight up honest, I was honest with my community about this too, is that I was waking up every single day in tears because I just wasn't, something within me wasn't happy. And
was it the stream, or was it your...
It was not the stream. No, it was not the stream. It was definitely everything else going on in my life,
Right.
because my stream was the one time I felt happy. Like that was the one time where I felt like I was myself. I was with people who actually legitimately cared about me and people I could relate to.
Mhm.
So eventually I ended up, because of my community, being like, hey, yeah, take care of yourself. Do what you need to do. I went and I sought out a therapist. I got like some testing done. I was in testing for like a month of different things that they wanted to do. And so
Right.
I finally got the diagnosis of severe social anxiety, generalized anxiety disorder, depression, and then as well something that apparently had been undiagnosed for a while is ADHD. So I didn't even know I had ADHD, and they did an intelligence test, and my intelligence test came back with some pretty high results, and they're like, so basically what we're thinking is your brain overcame obstacles for you before they knew you were, or before you knew they were obstacles. And I was like,
wow.
so you're telling me I worked twice as hard than I should have? And they're like,
man.
yeah, basically. And that's why you're tired all the time, is because your brain's running double.
Yeah, brain stuff is so weird. Oh my God. You're like, what are you doing in there, man? Or just calm down.
Yeah. But it's funny because since then, getting the testing and getting the diagnosis and actually getting the help that I needed, and they've been working with me on medication and whatnot, I have been significantly happier. I have been able to cut toxic people out of my life.
Right.
I have been able to invite more welcoming people into my life, be able to open myself up more to people, and like actually, like if I'm out and about or doing whatever, and be like, hi, hey, I'm Pika, who are you? Instead of just, you know what, maybe they'll come by and say something to start a conversation so I don't start it. But it's more me getting, I don't want to say ambition, but more of me being able to get that socialness out there to kind of take that step forward.
Right. And how has that impacted you as a content creator, like fixing these issues? Because you said you were happy when you were doing them, but there are times where I find that, I may be happy when I'm streaming, but it doesn't come across that way to the audience. So
Yeah.
so has that impacted you in any way with your streams?
I think it's kind of interesting because, like I said, I'm open with my community. I tell them everything, and when I told some of them about what was going on, I know a few of them were also like, you know what, maybe I should look into something too. And I think the reason why I was so like scared of everything was because there is such a stigma with mental health, and I hate that.
Absolutely.
And so now I'm just like willing to tell people like, hey, you've got something going on, go get it checked out, go do this. And it's definitely helped me be more vocal and wanting to step in more into that aspect of, hey, you know what? We don't need to stick to these stigmas that society has put on us, and be not just for mental health, but for anything where I feel like if somebody has a negative stigma on it, I'm just gonna sit there and be like, no, fuck the stigma, do what you want to do what you have to do.
Exactly.
And it's just made me, I guess, almost made me more confident as a content creator as well, to where I'm not scared to talk about things if I know there's not 100% agreement on there.
Yeah.
Or if I feel like it's going to be a touchy subject where I'm just like, now it's like, no, I'm going to talk about it. This is what my channel's opinion is. If you're going to argue with me on it, no. If you want to have a debate on it, that's like, a calm debate. Sure. Great. We can do that. But don't come in here and start like spewing hate or anything.
Right. Yeah. I always feel like, especially as a content creator, there's a lot of pressure on us to do more than what is expected of us. And in a way, you kind of have to if you want to be relevant in the eye of the public and the people who watch you and the people who may not watch you yet. And it can be difficult. It's really taxing on the mind. It can be scary, but when you have that good support system, when you have that good community who's there for you no matter what, it's a blessing, and it's such a relief too at the same time. Because I know
completely.
Because I know that if I need to take a month or a week off or a month off or something like that, they'll still be there.
Exactly. But I think even like if you take time off, there's always that fear. But even when you're having that fear and you're still communicating with them, still on social media, things like that, they're always there to reassure you. They provide you that reassurance that you're looking for.
Yeah. And so with the, obviously, like I said, it's content creators, we deal with these kind of things a lot. And, as much as I hate to admit it, there are times where the streaming aspect of things get really tough and really difficult to get into. So what are some things that you do to help, I guess, counteract the negative feelings and the pressures that can surround a lot of us?
Literally, it's literally goes back to what you said. Whenever you're feeling those feelings, I have a group of core friends that I turn to. Like I turn to Beetle, I turn to Hose, I turn to a few others, old mentors, new mentors, and I just kind of like throw my mindset at them, because it's what better way to help you sort through those feelings than with other people who have also gone through those feelings.
Right.
Be it at the same time, be it at different times, be it whatever it may be. I've always found it easier to help sort through my feelings when I'm talking to people who are also dealing with the same feelings. And that's a great thing I love about streaming and streamers and friends and whatnot, is because I can rely on those people so much more for those feelings and those worries and those concerns. And when people are just like, oh, well, you're feeling upset, go talk to your mom or something. I was like, my mom knows nothing about streaming. Absolutely nothing about it. Go talk to your therapist about it. My therapist knows nothing about it.
Yeah, my favorite response is when everyone's always like, oh, you can just talk to your cat, Sam. And I'm like, what did you just say to me? Listen, I love my cat, but I can't talk to him.
I mean, you can talk at him.
Yeah, I'm just gonna spit up, be like, hey, kitty, the numbers really just aren't there, man.
But it's funny because it's one of those things, because as you grow a community, and even if it's people who aren't streamers, even if it's just your viewers, and you've connected with a viewer who has become a friend or a mod or what have you, and even viewers have more of an understanding than just your regular Joe Schmo off the street friend, family member, or whatnot.
Oh, absolutely.
And I think they've helped me more with any negative feeling, because it's one of those things where they can provide, once again, that reassurance, and they can, seeing them and hearing their stories and hearing how they go through things, it just kind of like reinforces my ambition to keep going.
Right. And so, quick question for you: Are you in a relationship of any sort?
I am not.
You're not. Okay. Because usually what I like to ask is how significant others deal with the streaming aspect side of things. But
well, I mean, I've been on dates.
Right.
I've been in dating. And I guess you could technically say I'm casually dating somebody.
Ooh.
But they know about my streaming, and they've been incredibly supportive of it. And they've been a strong like backbone for it. They're always there for me in chat if I need them.
Oh, that's awesome.
But my past relationships weren't always like that. They would always sit there and like leave their name in chat, but they wouldn't really make the effort to talk to my community. They wouldn't make the effort to try and get involved or anything like that. And it was funny because part of my community was also the reason why I was like, you know what, I'm kind of in a toxic situation. I need to cut this person out of my life.
Right.
And that happened. And so cut the person out and focused on me. And since then, I've just been trying to find like healthier options, I guess.
Which is the mental health side of things is always just the most important thing. I can't, it just once you realize that toxic person is in your life, and once you get rid of them, it's just, it's like a breath of fresh air, honestly.
It is. It definitely is. It makes you feel a lot better. And then when you realize that, it was kind of funny because I was talking to somebody about it, and I don't remember who I was talking to about it, but they said like, at one point, I was just like, you know what? Fuck it. I'm just going to focus on me. Obviously, I'm just going to be stuck with my cat and my bird the rest of my life, and I'm okay with that. And then the second I had finally succumbed to, I'm okay with me, I'm content with where I'm at, this is great, then more positive forces came into my life. And I'm like, oh.
Yeah, well, it's like that positivity begets positivity. You know,
exactly.
It attracts more positivity. And obviously it attracts negativity too, because you get the negative people in like the chat rooms and stuff like that. Speaking of which, how have you ever had to deal with any crazy trolls or anything like that?
Oh my goodness, let's talk trolls, shall we?
Yes. I
feel like everybody gets trolls, but I have definitely had my share, both in chat and Twitch and in Discord, actually.
Really? Discord? Wow.
Yes.
You don't hear Discord very much, because the thing that I've noticed with interviewing everyone is that the females that I talked to so far definitely get the, like, I guess, awful trolls a lot more than the males that I've interviewed so far. So and I hate saying that, and I just hate the fact that that's there. So, you know, so what are some examples of the trolls that you've had to deal with?
So let's start out with a good story of what happened to me. And I think I was playing Minecraft at the time, which is always a game that brings trolls, but it's expected, and you just got to learn how to like respond to them and whatnot.
Right.
And my favorite thing to do is you don't fight with a troll. You don't show that reaction, but instead you just kind of shame them a little bit. And I realized once you shame them enough, they're just like, you know what? I'm not going to deal with this anymore. And I'm like, oh, hey, look at that. But the worst thing that happened to me was like, I noticed some people in chat were just like being overly sexual. And I'm just like, I was like, is this how you live your life? Like, I can obviously see why you're trying to sexualize me, because you obviously aren't getting it yourself.
Right.
But it was one of those things. And then somebody was like, well, you know what? You can just go back to the kitchen and make me a sandwich. Oh, and hey, honey, you should check your Discord. And I was like, what?
What the
heck?
And
so I opened up my Discord, and this was like earlier on into my channel. And it was just, the general channel was flooded with different porn pics.
Wow.
And I think, I don't know if there's still the clip of there, but like I was told I handled it really well, because I was just like, huh, look at that. There's a dick. Like, I haven't seen that before. And like,
well, it's like, thank you for the free porn. Thank you.
Thank you.
I can never get enough of porn.
I was like, I'm single. This helps. But
yeah, well, see, that's because some people may have pivoted into a different direction. Some people like to do the gore stuff and everything like that, which man, I'm just glad that I haven't had that happen to me so far. So
I definitely upped the security settings on my Discord after that. You definitely can't, like, I don't think you can talk in general unless it's been 10 minutes or something like that, and you have to have a verified email, all that fun jazz. But it's just it's not just to keep me protected from it, because like I said, it's a dick. It's not like I haven't seen one of those before. But the thing is, I have community members who are younger,
right,
and don't need to be subjected to that. And
Oh,
so I like to keep that, like, I don't even have a not safe for work channel on my Discord.
right.
Um,
Which good
just
for you.
because because like the thing is, like, if you want to have those pictures and those moments or things like that, DM. Just send it in DM. There's no need to share it widespread.
Exactly.
But nothing against anybody who does have a not safe for work channel. It's your channel. You do what you got to do. I'm the last person who can judge anybody for having a not safe for work channel, considering all the shit we talk about on my channel.
Well,
Like,
that's the thing. It's like you do what you want to do. I do what I want to do, and we'll be happy together.
exactly.
We don't need to, as long as we're not hurting anybody or we hate anybody. That's perfectly fine. Nothing wrong with that. So,
But yeah, so like I was deleting all those pictures and I was just in there and I'm just like, huh, that's an interesting looking one. As we're deleting it, my mods are going through deleting it too. And I was like, well, that was a nice little break. Let's get back to Minecraft.
yeah, let's play some more games, guys. And then subliminally you started making a dick in Minecraft after that.
Well, the funny thing is like, and this will go back to when I was playing like Div 2 when we realized that you can use the gun and on certain like scenery objects, like be it a curtain or be it a wall or something, you could actually shoot images into the wall. And so we just eventually, I forgot who I was with, but we were sitting there seeing how many dicks we could draw into the wall with a gun. And it's not one of those things, like I don't get scared or shied away from like lewd stuff or from crude stuff or whatnot. In fact, I encourage it on my channel because I'm just like, it's fucking hilarious. I don't care if you think I have the mental mindset of a 12-year-old boy. It's fucking funny.
Yeah, well, it's what makes you happy.
I'm gonna enjoy it. Yeah, exactly. And it's I think having that kind of mindset too lets everybody in my chat also feel a little bit more relaxed on being able to joke a little bit more open with me, because I feel like, and I'm not saying this is for everybody, but I do feel like when someone comes into particularly a female's channel, they're more on guard about what they say.
Mm-hmm. For sure. And I like, from what I've seen so far, it's like you don't really have to be. You can just talk to them like
you don't. Yeah, you really don't have to be.
You just talk. Listen, at the end of the day, you're a person. I'm a person. Just talk. You know.
Exactly.
And it's I guess it's just the mindset of how society is now, where it's like they don't want to, I guess, overstep boundaries or anything like that.
And I mean, they do it from a sign of respect. I do understand that. But it always feels like it takes longer for a chat member to warm up to a female streamer than it does for them to warm up to a male streamer. And I'm not saying that's necessarily, I'm not saying that's bad or wrong or anything like that, but I feel like people are more cautious and that they have to feel like they take more steps because of different reasons when it comes to female streamers. And I don't necessarily agree with that. And some of it's not just, some of it is because of how I'm not saying all, I'm saying how some women have overreacted or have falsely portrayed something and it's caused a negative look. I mean, men do the same thing on there and women do the same thing on there, and there's equality there in that. But it's just, I feel like it's heavier when a new chat member tries to interact with a female streamer, that they're more on guard.
Right. So pivoting away from this a little bit, what are some things that have you excited for your future as a content creator, as a streamer? Are you planning on doing anything on YouTube or doing anything elsewhere? Maybe on I don't know, maybe try a different streaming platform or anything like that? Has any of those thoughts ever crossed your mind?
The main one that has crossed my mind was actually YouTube.
And what kind of content would you make on YouTube?
I don't know if I would actually make like games I want to play on my own free time, because like I said, when I am playing on my own, I'm still talking to myself like I do on stream. And it would give my viewers another way to kind of like see my mindset behind a game without me constantly interacting with chat.
Yeah. Well, it gives you that more of a focus.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I already don't have focus to begin with, so I mean, a little bit helps.
Every little bit there helps. Every little bit. So you're wanting to think about getting into YouTube, and what about the streaming side of things? What has you excited about the future?
It's more so like every year there's always changes from, and like I said, I've only been in here for a year, but throughout this 1 year, I've seen so many changes, so many initiatives, so many people trying out different platforms or trying out something different and then coming back. So it's one of those things where I think I need a little bit more time on Twitch before I decide to either jump to a different platform or before I decide to make any steps further, because I still feel like I'm a little too green in streaming, and I want to definitely get my feet deeper into the water to understand it in depth a bit more.
Right. So if you have you checked out any of the other streaming platforms like Mixer or Facebook or YouTube or D Live or whatever other one's probably going to crop up soon?
Well, fun fact, so I used to stream, or well, I still do every now and then on the GameStop Twitch channel.
Right.
And sometimes when we would do our streams on there, they would do dual streams. So it would be to Twitch and to Facebook or something like that. And honestly, I feel like the Facebook community is one I'm probably going to avoid.
Really? Really?
Just because it might be because I was under the GameStop name or anything like that, but there was so much toxicity and negativity from
Wow.
the streams we did on there that I was like, you know what? This doesn't make me want to go onto that platform or even test it out. So I'm probably going to step back a little bit on that one.
What about the Twitch side? Was that also negative? Or
No, the Twitch side was nothing but positive. Nothing but positive. Very,
Wow.
I don't even think I saw any trolls in chat for that. And that's
Wow.
coming from the GameStop channel. So, there's people who have a love-hate relationship with GameStop.
Oh, for sure. For sure.
And so not having a bunch of toxicity, not having anything like that, it was just really nice. And I couldn't see the Facebook comments until after the stream was over because they fed the Twitch comments to us. And so I was just like reading those and seeing those, and like my community came over to support me while I was there, and it kept things happy and bright and cheerful. Which, I mean, now that I saw the comments afterwards, which you never read the comments afterwards, but I'm me and I'm nosy and I needed to know.
Yeah.
But I think after seeing that, it definitely helped me learn a little bit more about that side of things. And I'm just like, you know what? Nah, I'm gonna stay away from that one.
I don't blame you. I would have definitely thought that. I get Twitch has the bigger reach and the bigger audience. I thought that would have had more negativity, but that's surprising. Facebook of all places. Interesting. I'll have to remember that for later, because I was thinking about trying out Facebook, but now maybe not. Maybe not. So have you ever looked at Mixer or YouTube Live?
I haven't looked at. Well, I've watched a few people on YouTube Live, but I haven't really looked into it too much. I haven't seen anything too negative with like chat or anything like that. The only thing I'm scared of is that I feel like with Twitch, there can be more of a control on how a person reacts, because there's a lot of trolls, don't get me wrong, but there's a lot of people who have a lot connected to their account, be it a gamer tag, be it through their Twitch Prime being attached to it, whatever it may be, that they're less likely to be super anonymously trolly.
Right.
Whereas on YouTube, it can be extremely anonymously trolly, and that's just one thing that scares me.
So is there anything that makes you nervous about the Twitch platform? Because Twitch, I always feel like, is in a flux, and the streaming world in general is in a flux, especially as games like Fortnite start to die down or anything like that. Is there anything that makes you nervous about Twitch or content creation in general?
I'm not worried about content creation. I mean, everybody's going to have that fear of what happens if this doesn't pan out? What happens if this or that? Because the thing is, honestly, the people are going to be there. The people are already there. They want to see what you're doing. And as more games come out, there's more people who are going to be like, you know what? Let's go see what this is like.
Right.
And it gives chance for content creators just to put the best of themselves out there to keep this going. And it's one of those things where it realizes it's not up to the companies to keep everything going, and people are going to start realizing it's up to the content creators.
Oh, absolutely.
It's up to us to pull these people in and keep them here.
Yeah.
And so the only thing I'm worried about is if platforms start making that harder, which I noticed one time when the increase of ads went out. That kind of made things a little bit harder.
And then the controversies that are surrounded, because there was ads where they were promoting Ninja, promoting another person's stream and other people's streams, and it's like, what are you doing, and stuff like that. So yeah, that kind of stuff always makes me nervous. But I'm honestly just more excited about the future of streaming. Especially, I'm really excited to see what comes out of TwitchCon this year.
Oh yeah, for sure. And I'm definitely, it's one of those things where I see that, and most people are like, oh, well, this is happening. But then I kind of turn it around and I take it to be like, okay, well, if that's what's happening on my channel, I guess I need to push myself to get to that point.
Right.
And make it to where, not make it to where like everybody else is hating on me, but making it to the point where I am making that impact that I want to make.
Right. So you have a job.
I do.
And where is that job?
So I actually work at corporate GameStop.
Right. So what do you do at corporate GameStop?
I am an executive assistant for the merchandising team. So I handle basically my boss is the VP of merchandising, and I just kind of like control his life is the wrong phrase, but I kind of control his work life.
Right.
And I try to help him make sure he gets to places on time, make sure he gets to the things he needs to do, make sure his stuff is ready when it needs to be ready. But I also help out the rest of the team, the rest of like the merchants or whatnot, when they need help with anything, when they have questions. If they have questions about games, they'll come up and be like, hey, have you played this yet? Have you looked into it? What's it about?
Right.
Or what does your community think about XYZ? Or what do you think about this product if it were used for streaming? Or what do you think about this? And then there's times where, like I said, they'll ask me, they'll be like, hey, we're going to do this game. Do you want to join us on stream for it? And I always say, hell yeah, I'll join you for stream on that. Yeah. Because the first game, they were like, hey, we're playing Pokemon Let's Go. Do you want to stream it? And I was like, yes. Yes.
Please.
100% yes.
I would be more than happy to.
Because everybody there, they mostly know me as the Pokemon girl. They don't really know all the other aspects of the games that I get into. And like you pointed out, I am a severe variety streamer with all the different games I play.
Which nothing wrong with that. Yeah, nothing.
It's like I play Warframe, I play Ark, I play Pixark, I play all these other games too. And I'm like, it's not just Pokemon. And they're like, but Pokemon. I'm like, okay.
And you're like, okay. You got me. You convinced me. You got me there. So your employers obviously know that you're a streamer, correct?
Yes, they know I'm a streamer. They actually, whenever I do stream for them, they're always promoting it as Pikalyn and not as my real name. And they're really great about making sure that my identity. Ooh. I mean, a new word.
There you go. See, this podcast is breaking ground here, guys. All right, coming up with new words. You got parakeets now. Come on.
But yeah, they're really good about keeping my identity safe, because it's, as crazy as it sounds, I am open with my community, but not when it comes to my real name or anything like that.
Oh yeah, me too.
Is severely unique, to the point where if they found out what my first name is, you would be able to find me just by my first name alone.
Dang, that's impressive and also very scary.
Yes, very scary.
I'm very.
I blame my mother.
Ah, God, thanks, Mom. You cursed me in my internet career. So
it's just funny because it's a word that is extremely common, but not as a name.
Okay.
Yeah,
I'll roll with that.
I'll have to tell you after stream.
Yeah, I'll roll with that for sure.
Or stream podcast.
Yeah, don't worry. I called this a stream so many times. Don't worry.
Well, I'm so used to it. Yeah, what is this offline stuff?
Well, we got that streamer mindset going here. You know, it's like that's what we do, so that's what we think of. So
it's just what I'm used to.
Yeah. So do they ever try to like tie anything in, like, you know, present new ideas in your community or anything like that? Like, hey, test bed this or try this or try that. Like, and are they encouraging with you in your streams?
Yeah, they're extremely encouraging me in my streams, but they never force me to do anything that like goes back to the corporation. They never make me be like, hey, test this with your community, or hey, test this with your community, or hey, ask your community this. And if it's anything I'm uncomfortable with, I'll just tell them no. Right. Because they don't own my stream. They don't own my private life. And they've never once crossed that boundary. Like one time they were like, hey, can you test out this webcam and then bring it back and tell us what you thought about it? And I was like, sure. Yeah. I do not mind testing out a webcam to tell you how I think about it. Yeah. But they've never once been like, hey, tell them that GameStop is selling XYZ. They don't try to get me to market anything on my channel. They don't try to use me as like a marketing ploy or anything like that.
Yeah. Well, that's good on them for doing that, because I know some people would probably try to take advantage of that, especially with how well you're doing in the streaming world, which I think you're doing awesome. for for the year and 1 month that you've been around. It's always really encouraging to see people not only stay committed to it and stay consistent, but also experience good growth out of it. And
It was unexpected for sure.
yeah, well, do you eventually want to just do this full time?
Oh yeah, hands down. This is, like I said in the beginning, this was the one thing that brought me joy 100%. And I realized when I realized that this was making me that happy, I was like, this is what I need to do. This is what I need to do. And I need to put my all into it. Granted, in the beginning, I put my all into it and it drained me significantly because I was streaming every single day, no
Ooh,
breaks.
that's rough. That is
As
rough.
well as working 40 to 50 hours a week.
That's even more rough. That's okay, because that's something that I think a lot of new people when they first start out do. You know, they're like,
Yeah.
I really love this, and I love it so much, I'm gonna do it every day, every waking hour, 8 hours a day, and things like that. And you're like, because I was like that too when I first started, and then I realized something. Dear God, I hated that.
Yeah, it definitely drains you. And so I ended up I was like, you know what? No, I need to take Wednesdays off to just get some kind of like time to myself. And then as I started getting into communities and whatnot and getting pushed through the ranks in those communities where I needed to actually have more of an impact and whatnot, I was like, you know what? I'm going to take Sunday off too, so that I have one day off of stream and work at the same time. And then I have one day where it's just work and one day where it's just stream.
Right.
So that way I have a little bit of break from everything.
Which is smart. Very, very smart. Just a day to recharge yourself as a person. Yeah,
right before the week starts up again.
Yeah, because the people always like to say as streamers, you're just playing video games.
Oh, I hate that. I hate that so much.
Yeah, me too. When in actuality, we're making sure lighting looks good, gotta get the cameras working, gotta make sure the audio sounds good, gotta come up with new and entertaining things to do, gotta pick the right game, gotta do this, gotta do that, gotta do this, gotta do that, you know? And it's draining. It's really draining. And even if you enjoy doing it, even if you're having the time of your life, it still drains you at the end of the day.
Yeah, because it's just it's no matter what you do, and I love the theory behind this, but it's the spoon theory. No matter what you do, it's gonna take away a spoon. And depending on what it is and how much you enjoy it, just depends on how many spoons it takes away at the time.
Yeah.
So like for streaming will take away 1 spoon, whereas going to work will take away 4 spoons.
Yeah.
And it's just one of those things where it's, although you may be enjoying it incredibly so, it's still going to drain you. It's still going to take your spoons away. And it's so hard to explain to people who don't understand that you're not just playing video games. And they're like, but that's all you're doing. I was like, no, I am interacting with chat. I am using my energy. I am making sure that what I am commenting on is still somewhat entertaining. If I can be entertaining, I'm going to try. God damn it.
Yeah, exactly. And that's you're making those connections. You're trying to make sure that everyone's happy and everything. And it's just it can wear on you. It really can.
Yeah, especially if you've had like a rough day at work beforehand, and then you get home and you're like, okay, time to put on that smile. And there's days where I can't put on the smile, and I'm just like, guys, it was a fucking rough day. Let's go kill some people in games.
Exactly.
I'm just like, this is what I need. Come be with me and be my stress relief right now.
Oh yeah, when and it is good stress relief too. But there's always just the time that you need for yourself to get those spoons back.
Yeah, exactly.
So you mentioned earlier in the podcast that you dealt with social anxiety, and
yes,
I feel like there's definitely a lot of social anxiety that comes with streaming. Because you want to meet new people, obviously, as a streamer. You want to network with new people. So how do you go about networking with new people? How do you still suffer that social anxiety, first of all?
I don't think it's as bad. It's still there because it's still meeting a new person. So normally what I'll do is I'll just browse around channels, or I try to support people with lurks when I'm not able to actually be at my computer. And when I come back, it's normally to tabs of a bunch of new streamers. And so when I'm at these tabs of a bunch of new streamers due to the previous one's raids, it's like, okay, let me watch this one for a little bit. Let me watch this one for a little bit and see which ones actually kind of speak to me a bit more. And I'll do that. Or I'll go through some of the games I've played and I'll see people who are in there, or even if it's people in the communities I'm in that I just haven't met yet, that I'm just like, you know what, let's go say hi to them and see what they're up to, what they're doing and whatnot.
Yeah. And so then do you just reach out to them and you're just like, hey, I'm Pikalyn. Nice to meet you.
Pretty much. I'm just like, hi, I'm Pika. How are you? And then I just sit there and talk. I have a big rule that I don't mention my stream unless I'm asked.
Very good on you.
Um,
Very, very good.
I refuse to self-promote unless asked. Um, if somebody else tries to like bring it up, they're like, oh yeah, Pika does this, this. And I'm like, yeah, but look what they're doing in their stream right now.
Oh, yeah,
Hey, let's go back to that.
that's always the worst part to me because especially in a raid, whenever I raid people, and then you have that one person in the stream who's like, Waffles, your stream was so amazing and stuff. And I'm like, yeah, it was, but this person's even cooler. And then
Yeah.
just like, get the topic off of me, please.
Because the whole point of the raid is to bring that love to that person and not take it off yourself, but push it forward onto another human being, another streamer.
Yeah, and that's why raids are just amazing for that reason, alone. And it's because I know a lot of people deal with that anxiety, and I know there's a lot of people who even just deal with the anxiety of hitting the start streaming button. It's that monumental task that a lot of people can't get around because you're putting yourself out there, you're putting your face out there, or your voice, or who you are as a person. And I'm sure a lot of people see the awful trolls that you always hear about on Twitch and things like that. And that's scary. That is scary. And it's a very real thing. But there's also the very real thing of the amazing people that we've all met so far.
Exactly. And I think one thing that goes down to it as well is as time has gone on, I have created I don't want to say I've created, but together people have come together in my community to make a wonderful, wonderful mod team that I could not do anything without. And so now when I press that stream button, there's no anxiety there anymore. I'm excited. And it's because I know that if anything were to come into the channel that was negative or hateful or whatnot, my mods have my back and I don't have to worry about it.
So you rely on your mods a lot?
Oh, I rely. The funny thing is just like, it's like, I'm pretty sure maybe once a day, and you know how like lax I am on everything.
For sure.
Once a day, somebody gets banned because they want to be a troll for whatever reason. And half the time it gets done before I can even see it.
Right.
Before it can even make that impact on me. And then my mods will just tell me after stream what happened. And I'm like, okay, cool. Keep it.
Yeah. Nice. Yeah. Yeah. That's all. Yeah. Because I think the the thing that with the mod team, that you want to have not only do you want them to be people that you rely on to keep your stream clean, but they also rely on to be your friends.
Yeah, and that's how it is. Like when I'm going to TwitchCon this year, I will be rooming with two of my mods, so I'm extremely excited about it. They're both streamers as well, but they're also my mods.
Well, you also brought a moderator to DreamHack with you.
Like I did bring a moderator to DreamHack, yeah. And the funny thing is, I got him into streaming too.
Oh my god, that's beautiful! I always love it when new people come into streaming. It's just like, yes, more people that I get to meet and more people that I get to talk to. Because like Beetlebomb said last week, they're friends that we just haven't met yet. They're just
and that's one thing that stuck with me. And
it's just so profound. The connections that you've like, we wouldn't be here if neither of us had started streaming. It's just those cool little moments that you get to have with people that you've never met, people across the country, people across the world that you get to experience. And that's a cool thing. And it's a cool thing too to know that, hey, I get to be the focal point for this. I get to be the bridge for all of these awesome people. And so you've said earlier that a lot of people like to come and talk to you about things. So you try to keep an open door policy with your community, because obviously, you're open with them, but you keep the door open for them to talk to you as well.
For the most part, the main rule that I have is if somebody comes into chat and they start talking about either suicidal tendencies or like, I will talk to them and be like, hey, I suffer from depression, but I don't necessarily go into the topics of what causes it. And I don't seek out help in that sense because I know that's something I go to my therapist for. So the only rule I have is that I cannot give you advice. I am not a therapist. I am not a counselor. I am not trained in any way to offer advice on depression or how to handle situations like that. You have questions about your stream? Sure, I'll answer those all night and day. But when it comes to depression or things like that. There's just some advice that I can't offer because I'm not a therapist. So that's the only rule that I have. But I make sure that I have like a little document of resources that I give to them when they need that help. Where I'm just like, if you need somebody to talk to, here's what you can do.
Right. Well, good on you for doing that, and also good on you for having that hard rule about not talking about, like, not trying to be the therapist when it comes to suicidal thoughts.
Yeah,
but because
sometimes that can make it worse.
Oh, absolutely. And there's always the people who like come to you expecting you to help them with that. And first of all, when I say that, I'm glad that they think that they want, like, I'm able to do something, but yeah. I am in nowhere near, neither of us are nowhere near qualified to even begin to touch that subject, and we don't want to cause any more harm as content creators, because,
and that's the thing, like everybody's they always sit there and they say like it's diagnosed as generalized anxiety disorder or social anxiety or depression or whatnot. But the thing is, everybody's depression and anxiety is different. It gets treated in similar ways, but there's a reason why when you go to a therapist, it's not always group therapy in the beginning. It's that solo one-on-one, because each case has to be handled individually. And that's why people have to basically like shop therapists as well. And they have to try different medications to see what works for them, because it's individualized. It's affected in different ways. People react in different ways, and it's not just one solution treat all.
Right. And I think a lot of people want to put that pressure on the content creator because, it's starting to go away from that. But there are still some people who don't understand that, yes, we want to make you smile and we want to make your day better, but we can't help you with everything.
Yeah, exactly.
As much as we want to, we just can't. We don't have the tools for that. So moving on to a little bit of a brighter topic. So are you playing any games right now?
On your off time? Currently doing on my off time. We can't judge me, but because of how crazy it's been with work lately, it's just been really busy, really intense. It's super silly, and it's like the cutesiest game ever. It's a mixture of like Animal Crossing and Stardew Valley. It's called Garden Paws.
Garden Paws. You're playing that?
And it's adorable.
I'm looking at the Discord right now, in our DMs. It says Pikalyn playing Garden Paws.
It's on the pause menu. Okay, it's on the pause menu.
Guys,
I have it paused.
I figured it out. She's been playing Garden Paws this entire podcast. I gotta say, good multitasking skills though.
No, it's legit been on the pause menu the entire time. But a few games that I try to get into off stream at least is like I do play more Minecraft off stream just to like try to dive into it and get a lot of the grinding stuff out. Right. I tried Cooking Simulator because it looked like a lot of fun, and then I just got mad at it, and I'm just like, I can't do this because there's too much focus, and I'm like, I have ADHD. I take Adderall for my ADHD. I cannot focus on all these different things.
Right.
This isn't working.
Yeah.
And then other than that, it's just if a new game comes out that I want to try out, I try to get some time into it. But between work and stream, I don't get a lot of free time to just kind of like game on my own. So I kind of get the games that I want to play, and I play those on stream. If there's something that I severely want to play, then I will put that into my stream. Like Division 2 was something that I didn't know if I wanted to get into it, didn't really get the chance to try it out. So I was like, you know what? Fuck it. We're going to play it on stream. I'm going to try it out. And I fell in love with it.
Right. Yeah.
And so that's kind of how it is with a lot of the other games that I want to try or I want to play. I either am staying up till 2 a.m. playing it and trying it out, or I'm playing it on stream to test it out.
Mm-hmm. And so is there anything specific that you do in your off days to just unwind?
Sleep through all of my alarms.
That's actually a really good thing and something I can easily relate to.
And it's kind of funny too, because one thing is I know I don't get enough sleep, where my community has it memorized now, like what time they know I'm about to get home, what time I start my nap before stream, and what time I need to be awake. And so when it hits that time, normally one of my mods that actually has my cell phone number is calling me to make sure I didn't sleep through my alarms, because 99% of the time I sleep through my alarms. and they're calling me to wake up. They're like,
Yeah, you just like,
okay,
yeah,
you
I'm
need to
going to
get
do
ready to
this
go
now.
stream. I'm like,
It's
okay. I did
yeah.
the thing. Um,
So is there anything that you are, I guess, like, is there anything that you're, if you could go back to talk to yourself when you first started, what would you say? Like, what advice would you give to yourself?
Listen to the advice that you're given from others. Don't try to assume that because something is working for you, that it's going to keep working for you. Um, be open to change. Be open to just be adaptable. Um, be ready for the ups and the downs, and like regardless, because and as a streamer, you know there are ups and there are downs, and
Oh, for sure.
and when you hit those downs, you get those negative feelings. And it's one of those things where it's just like rely on the friends you've made. Don't try to take this all on your own. And I would literally just smack myself in the head and be like, get rid of this toxic stuff. Like, get rid of it earlier in time.
Just
Stop
get it
dealing
out
with
now.
it. Just kick it out. Go get it out.
Get rid of it. Just get it out. I don't want you anymore. It's so important as a content creator to just remember that. And also, you know, to like with the negative feelings too, it's just like they're gonna come.
Mm-hmm.
They're gonna happen, and you can either deal with it or you can let it deal with you. So I always try to deal with it myself. I always try to acknowledge that it exists and that it is gonna happen. But at the end of the day, I like to look back on what I've created. Are you proud of what you've done so far?
Oh, I'm incredibly proud. And I always do this, and you'll see this in my live tweets and things like that too. I very rarely say the word I.
Right.
I almost always say we. And the reason why I do that is because I know I am not doing this alone. I would not be where I'm at without my community. I would not be where I'm at without my mods. I would not be where I'm at without my friends. It's not just me. This entire thing, my channel is not just me. It is a collaborative effort.
Right. And that, which it's heartwarming. It's really heartwarming to hear that. I'm super happy to have met you too. It's been a really awesome adventure getting to know you and getting to become friends with you.
Likewise.
It culminating all into DreamHack Dallas, where we met. And so, what is there any direction that you're wanting to take your stream eventually? Like, is there any, or are you just going to keep going the same road that you're on, same path, just full steam ahead this way?
I think it's going to be the full steam ahead right now. Like I said, I still want to get my feet deeper into the waters to learn and understand a little bit more. And I have been extremely grateful to meet some partners who have been mentoring me on their own when they can. And they've been some amazing people to come and just teach me and prepare me for things that should come and how to overcome certain obstacles and whatnot. And then at the same time, I have one friend who I would also say is a mentor, and that's Ichi. And he when he was here visiting me, because he was my guest on my 1-year stream, he would always ask me these questions. He's like, what do you want to do with your stream a year from now? What do you want to do with your stream this many years from now? How do you plan on reaching those goals? How do you plan on doing this? And it was always those thought-provoking questions where I couldn't just sit there and say I don't know, because if I didn't know, what's the point?
Exactly. You're just floundering in the water.
And it's one of those things where I know my main goal is to make an impact. And the impact I want to make is more so, and it's more so, I don't want to say it's just for women, but it's for like just people in general to be yourself. Don't feel like you have to stick to a certain persona or a certain like lifestyle or whatever it may be. Like if you feel like you're fucked up all sorts of different ways, go with it. If you're handling it, handle it. And just, you're going to find those people who will connect with that. You're going to find those people who are all like, you know what, I'm also a little fucked up. Let's join you. And so it's one of those things where you get to, and that's what I love about my community, because it's like, it's a bunch of people who have the same kind of mindset about like that I do, where I sit there and I can say the worst pun in the world, laugh at myself, and then you can just see them like admitting that they're laughing too, but they're reluctant to do it because they're just like, it was a stupid pun. but they found it fucking hilarious. And so it's one of those
Beautiful.
things where I don't want people to feel like they can't be random and weird and awkward and all the things that I have felt before streaming that I
Right.
now don't feel as prevalent.
Right. So if there was one thing as a streamer that you can improve upon right now, like you're gonna sit down, you're gonna become better for and use this to better yourself, what would that be right now?
Honestly, I think it would be my time management and my networking. And
Right.
like I'm already proud of the networking that I can do, but I feel like because of work and streaming and the little free time I do have, when I do have that free time, I tend to get into the habit of just I'm going to avoid everything. And I don't need to do that. I need to find ways where I can take at least some of that time, be it over the next couple months or so, where I take an hour or two a day of my free time and I'm like, you know what? Use this time, research, how can I improve? How can I
Right.
do what can I do better? What is my community looking for? How can I provide better incentives for them? How can I provide better content for them? How can I connect with developers in different ways where it's not just the community, but how can I reach out to these sponsorship opportunities, these other different opportunities where I can help grow that impact even further?
Yeah, and just keep pushing the bar further.
Exactly.
Yeah, because the streamers, you got to keep doing that. You got to keep pushing the bar. You got to keep basically reinventing yourself at all times.
And
while
it's
still
funny because I
keeping-
did that.
Yeah, but at the same time, you still keep the core of who you are.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah, for sure. The main thing was just an art change and a step away from the original theme because I didn't want my original theme to take away from who I was.
Yeah,
And I felt like originally I was doing that because originally the theme was obviously Pikachu. And someone was telling me, like, so does that mean you're okay with the rest of your streaming career to be known as that Pikachu girl or that Pokemon girl? And I was like, that's not what I want. That's not what I want at all. And then I found out that there was an animal called a Pika, which is my mascot
oh,
now. And I think they're like slightly endangered, but there's like conservation efforts for them because as temperatures are rising, um, their habitats are getting a little bit too warm for them to handle.
right.
So it's causing some trouble for them. But since then, I was like, you know what? I'm switching the theme. I'm gonna focus on these pikas, and now I actually have like timers, and I promote. I'm not sponsored with them, but I promote like the conservation of them through different organizations.
Man, that's awesome on you. That's really. Have you ever thought about doing like a huge charity stream for them? Just
I
like
want to prepare properly for a charity stream. I feel like I don't know everything yet that I want to do to properly prepare for a charity stream, how I want to network it, how I want to get with the people properly for it. I keep
yeah,
saying the word
yeah.
properly because it's the only word that's coming to my head.
It's
But
okay. Listen, I've been saying right like 50,000 times in this entire podcast, so it's okay. It's okay. Well, because I've run a couple of charity streams myself, mostly just for Extra Life, and I'm going to be running one soon again. But I think it's really awesome, and I think you should definitely figure out ways to do that.
yeah,
Because
and
charity streams,
I've been a
they-
part of one before through the Hunger Games for 7 Days to Die, and that was a massive like battle royale PvP thing that we did, and chat was able to donate $50, and it would affect how we were treating game. Either we would get a loot box or we would have zombies spawned on us. And so at the end of the game, whoever won the battle royale, all the money that was raised throughout I think it was like an 8-9 hour stream, went to the winner's charity of choice. So it still went to that charity, but it was a lot of fun, and it was really cool to see so many different people fighting for so many different charities for the chance to provide that. And the charity that won, I think, was Susan G. Komen, which is still a wonderful charity.
Yeah, I like that. I like that a lot. That's a really good idea.
It was a ton of fun.
And I want to take a quick sidebar here real quick, as you just sent me a couple messages of what the Pika is. And this tiny little thing is so stupid cute. I think my eyeballs are bleeding now. Like, holy cow. I'm going to put a picture up on this is going to be like the first time I'm going to put a picture over like this. Because I just got to show I can see where Pikachu got the influence from for sure. Because it's a cute little mouse, guys. It'll literally make your heads explode from how cute it is. Especially this little tiny one that looks like a little ball.
I
Looks
know.
like a little ping pong ball. Oh my goodness, he's so cute.
The funny thing about the Pikachu name as well, in Japanese, if I remember this correctly, Pikachu actually means like sparkle squeak.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Squeak, huh? Interesting. I didn't know that. I feel like I'm learning things today. I learned that you have a parakeet. I learned what a Pika is, and now I know that Pikachu means that. It's great. I love it.
I teach things. There's Pokemon facts.
Guys, this I told you guys, this podcast is transcending now, okay? It is transcending.
Breaking all the boundaries.
Breaking it all. Well, Pikalyn, I think we're reaching the end here.
It's been so much fun.
I know, we've been going for an hour and 15 minutes already. Can you believe that?
No.
It's crazy. Absolutely crazy. So, where can people catch you?
They can catch me on twitch.tv/Pikalyn, and that's Pikalyn.
Okay, and do you have a Twitter account?
I do. My Twitter handle is at the Pikalyn. Someone already had Pikalyn somehow. But yeah, so it's at the Pikalyn.
Gotcha. And spelled the same way?
Yes. So THE and then Pikalyn.
And what is your current schedule looking like right now for when you go live?
I am Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday from 7 p.m. to 11 p.m. Central, and Saturdays are community nights, so we play Jackbox.
Awesome. I love it. I absolutely love it. Well, Pikalyn, thank you so much for coming on. Thank you for being an amazing guest. Absolutely. And we're going to do this again, okay? So keep your schedule open for some time in the future. All right, guys. This has been Pikalyn. Have a fantastic rest of your day. Bye, everyone.
Bye.
And what a freaking fantastic podcast that was. Thank you once again to Pikalyn for coming on. Make sure to check her out on Twitter and Twitch, guys. Like she said, she's just an awesome person, guys. You got to check her out. You have to. Please. If not for her, then for me. Please. Guys, don't forget about the Extra Life charity stream happening on August 16th. Like I said, it's going to be running for 24 hours trying to raise $1,000 freaking dollars for charity, everyone. Guys, my name has been Sam. Thank you all so much for joining me on this episode, and I hope to see all of you on the next one. Goodbye.